I have some huge, devastating news for the RV community. RVs have been banned starting January 1st, 2025 in 6 states in the United States. This is devastating news for the RV manufacturers that sell RVs in 6 states in the United States. That's California, Oregon, Washington, New Jersey, New York, and Massachusetts. I found out about this huge legal change that happened from the RV podcast. Let's go to a clip from the RV podcast and he'll tell you a little bit more about the change that has just happened January 1st, a couple of days ago, all across 6 states in the United States.
The RV industry is reeling this week as California and 5 other clean air states are about to ban the sale of motorhomes with a gross vehicle weight of over 8,500 pounds. Now, this includes most motorhomes, but this ban affecting the larger motorhomes will go into effect January 1st, 2025.
A lot of people are already aware of the Clean Truck Act. That has been in effect for about a year in California, Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York. But those restrictions applied to commercial trucks, big over-the-road trucks, 18-wheelers, huge trucks that put out a ton of emissions, not low-mileage RVs. Nobody expected this to apply to low-mileage RVs. RVs only account for a fraction, a tiny bit of the total emissions given out by large trucks. RVs are typically driven 3,000 to 5,000 miles per year compared to the billions of miles that big trucks drive over the road. RVs only account for a few million miles driven over the road. Let me go back to the podcast and he'll tell you a little bit more about this.
The industry really expected an exemption from this program. This program clearly seems aimed at big diesel trucks driven around the clock, not low mileage recreation vehicles. A typical RV is driven 3,000 to 5,000 miles a year. It's called the Advanced Clean Truck Regulation. That's what's been causing the controversy. And it's been out there for about a year now, at least. The other states that have adopted it are Oregon, Washington, Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey. And so as of right now, California and the 5 other states following that ACT regulation have not exempted RVs, and in fact, will halt the sales of most motorhomes manufactured after January 1st, 2025.
So what does this mean for you? Does this mean that you cannot register your RV in any of these states? It possibly could. I don't know how this is going to apply to all RVs ever sold in those states, but I know they're taking very aggressive action and banning a lot of vehicles. I have a lot of friends who are scared to even drive their buses into California because of the Advanced Clean Truck Act. I feel like there's a lot of legislation coming down and it is going in the direction of getting rid of van life altogether. The more I see on the news, the more I see stories like this, the more I think that van life is endangered. Cities across the US are creating city ordinances that don't allow anybody to sleep in their vehicles in their town. I have been thrown out myself from a town that had one of these ordinances just for sitting in my vehicle. I wasn't even sleeping. It wasn't even late. I was going to stay there the night and return an auto parts part the next day, but I was kicked out of the town, run out of the town. I had to go a town over just to stay the night so I could return this auto part the next day. I just have a feeling that it is coming to an end. Public lands are dwindling, becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and legislation like this, banning the RV sales, banning registration of RVs, and I just feel like the van life movement is kind of coming to an end. We may have another 10 years, we may have another 15 years, but eventually all vehicle sales will be affected by bans like this in the near future. In order for a car manufacturer to continue selling RVs in these states, they have to have 11% of their total fleet being sold is electric vehicles. Now, you know RV manufacturers don't have any electric vehicles. So just by default, all of those sales are being halted and being banned in those states completely. Very few manufacturers have 11% of their total fleet as an electric vehicle. There are a few vehicle manufacturers like Ford. They do have 11% of their total fleet being sold as electric vehicles. So the Ford Transit platform that's being turned into Winnebagos and things like that, those will be allowed to continue being sold in these states. But it's getting smaller and smaller. The population of RVs is dwindling, and it's something to worry about. Really, it is.
Because of clean air regulations, internal combustion vehicle manufacturers are required to have a certain percentage of EVs, 11% in 2025. The bigger the percentage, the more credits the regulation gives them to allow sales. And frankly, that's years away for most motorhomes. Now, Winnebago and Thor and others have tinkered around with EV Class B camper vans, but none are ready for the marketplace yet. Now, this is very complicated and it's very bureaucratic. It's led by California and the California Air Resources Board, CARB, C-A-R-B, which has been on a relentless quest to force internal combustion engine manufacturers to go zero emissions by requiring them to have ever-increasing percentages of their fleet be EV. The car manufacturers have largely been complying, but the rule that is now causing all the controversy is the Advanced Clean Truck Regulation and how it affects RVs and motorhomes. The new Advanced Clean Truck Regulation, followed by California and the 5 other states, as of January 1st, bans all new vehicles over 8,500 pounds unless their manufacturers also make a certain percentage of zero-emission electric vehicles. But here's the catch. As we said, the Class C and up motorhomes have no EVs, and they won't, at least for a long time. For Class C motorhomes, the situation may be a little better because most Class Cs are on either the Ford Transit or the Mercedes Sprinter chassis. And both Ford and Mercedes do make EVs for the rest of their fleet, their passenger vehicles. And that gives them some credits that may get them clear of ACT's requirements for the motorhome chassis. But big Class A and Super C RV manufacturers like Newmar, chassis makers like Freightliner and Spartan, they have no such emission credit advantage. They thought, though, that they would get an exemption from ACT because they are so niche and they're unable to make EVs. Well, they were wrong, and they've now notified their dealers in the 6 states that no new models will be shipped to them in 2025.
Let me go back to the RV podcast, and he'll show you the numbers of how many million miles a RV is driven per year compared to the billions of miles that are driven by medium and heavy duty trucks. It's pretty fascinating that they're banning such a small segment of the market, and it's going to make a minuscule impact on emissions overall.
Motorhomes represent only 11.8 million miles traveled versus the 4.8 billion miles traveled by medium and heavy duty trucks, making it obvious that an exemption for motorhomes will not have an adverse impact on environmental concerns. Well, despite that letter, that exemption did not happen during the California Air Resources Board's meeting last week. And the RV industry is stunned. Unless things change, similar bans on big motorhomes could be coming from many other states in 2026 and 2027. Well, we are continuing to work with manufacturers, dealers, and CARB to find a solution. If nothing changes, motorhomes will not be able to be sold and registered in California beginning in 2025. Note that the RVIA said in their statement, motorhomes will not be able to be sold. In their letter to the California Clean Air Resources Board, CARB, they warned of the loss of the entire motorhome industry in the state. These are sweeping statements. So we asked for a clarification, and RVIA spokesperson Monica Gerasi underscored the scope of that ban. All motorhomes are impacted by the ACT, she said. Can California residents buy a 2025 motorhome RV outside the state and register it in California? The answer is no. What about out-of-state owners of new 2025 Class A and Super C motorhomes? Can they take them to California and camp there? Probably. though it's not entirely clear for how long, and if so, they may need a permit to come into California.
So these sweeping statements are widespread and they are far-reaching. It is unclear if you will be able to even drive a vehicle like this into the state of California and subsequently Oregon, Washington, Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey. In the future, you may have to have a permit to even enter the state. We are becoming more and more policed day by day. We are losing freedoms, and if we don't do something about it, they will be lost forever. We need to act, and we need to act now. We need to act yesterday because this regulation has already been started, it's already in effect, and no new RV sales are allowed in the state of California and the other 5 states. Let me know what you think about all this in the description of this video. Maybe it doesn't affect you at all, but if you are like me and you travel a lot of the time of the year, it may really affect you vastly. I would like to thank the RV Podcast for bringing to light this story and letting more people know about it. If they fly under our radar, then nobody even makes a noise and nobody even does anything. I will link the original video in the description of this video so that you can see more detail. It's about a 30-minute podcast, and you will see all of the information that he has uncovered while creating this story. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you're not affected by this ban, and if you are, move out of those states, I guess. I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll respond to everyone that I can. If you have not given it a thumbs up, please consider smashing the thumbs up button and subscribing to my channel. There will be some really new, exciting videos coming up really soon. I may or may not have just gotten pulled over, so that will be coming up in a video in just a week or two. Thank you all for being here, and I will catch you in another video real soon, right down the road.
New Newmar Dutch Star on the Freightliner chassis with a 450 horse Cummins, banned. New Dynamax DX3 with the M2 106 and the Cummins engine, banned. New Dynamax DynaQuest XL on the M2 112 Freightliner chassis with the Cummins engine, banned. Max Europa on the M2 106 with the Cummins 360 horse, banned. Berkshire diesel pusher with the 6.7 Cummins, Berkshire XL diesel with the 8.9 liter Cummins, banned. Every single new Newmar diesel motor home, banned.